A line is a vector. It's an exit, but a line has no inside. To build a prison without walls, you only need one thing, a third point. The moment the tripod is set, a boundary is born. You aren't trapped by monsters, you're trapped by geometry.
In Fromville, the first number Victor learned to count was 3. Not 1, not 2, just 3. 1 represented loneliness, 2 stood for danger, but 3 signified that something had chosen to remain. On the morning when the food truly ran out, not just the usual lean weeks or the polite hunger people feigned was temporary, residents noticed it at the graveyard. 3 crows perched on a dead utility pole. They weren't pecking, nor were they calling out. They simply sat there, like punctuation marks in the air. Victor had pieced together old drawings, roads that looped, trees that danced, and a lake that appeared out of nowhere. He had marked 3 in bold red ink. In the tunnels, Tabitha stumbled upon the bird. It wasn't whole. Far from it. Just a slick scatter of feathers and bone dragged into a shallow hollow in the dirt. 3 rats hunched over it, backs arched, chewing with a wet patience that suggested they had all the time in the world. 1 was working on the breast, tearing muscle, another gnawed on the skull, tiny teeth clicking against the beak, while the third had its snout buried where the throat once was. They didn't scurry away when her flashlight hit them. They paused, seemingly annoyed, then resumed their feast. Victor tugged at her sleeve. "We should head back. Rats live here," he said. "Birds don't." Behind them, something deeper in the tunnels shifted, like a sleeper turning over. 3 victims in the dungeon. 3 stones near the first settlement. 3 months until the rations ran out. 3 effigy awakenings, 3 ravens, 3 root symbols. "Tripod," he murmured. "You can't build stability with pairs. Pairs wobble, they collapse into binaries. You need a third to stabilize the system. If you trap something between 2 forces, it just slides back and forth. Add a third, and you create a basin, a place it can settle. That's what this place is, a basin." Later, Victor sketched it all without being prompted. 3 stones, 3 bodies, 3 effigies, 3 foundations. Above them, he drew a childlike version of the town, with crooked roofs and looping roads. Around the edges, he filled the page with small black shapes, birds, rats, worms, until the white space vanished. When Tabitha saw the drawing, a chilling realization settled over her, not just as a thought, but as a weight. "This place isn't trying to kill us," she said. "It's trying to keep us. In Fromville, silence was never empty. It was the shape left behind when 3 different sounds had been removed all at once." As night fell, the town did what it always did. It balanced itself delicately on 3 unseen points, like a stool that would stand indefinitely as long as no one kicked out a leg, though no one alive could say which leg that might be or what would happen if it fell. There's a pattern in Fromville that doesn't announce itself. No symbols carved into walls, no prophecy spoken aloud. It reveals itself in logistics, in accidents, in who suffers simultaneously. You only see it if you stop asking why and start asking how many. 3. Not as mysticism, but as a minimum requirement. When Tabitha and Victor traversed the tunnels and found rats feeding on a dead bird, nothing supernatural happened. No jump scares, no ritual markings, no ominous music. Just consumption. Victor wasn't surprised. Tabitha felt disturbed enough to want to turn back. The moment passed, but it was revealing something from the surface, something that flies, carries direction, navigation, sky, had died underground and was being erased by creatures that thrive below. Not one rat. 3 working in unison. Efficient with no message, no trajectory to trace. Later, 3 individuals were chained in a dungeon, Randall, Julie, Marielle. They were not alike in personality, status, or circumstance, yet they formed a functional spread. One was volatile and physical, another relational and empathetic, and the third clinical and analytical. Body, bond, mind. Elsewhere, Boyd carried worms beneath his skin. They didn't kill him, they stabilized him. His tremors ceased and his body became functional again, but at a cost. He was now permeable to something else. Surveillance rather than infection. He continued to act, lead, and decide, but always under pressure that seemed precisely calibrated to his emotional state. When he fractured, the town fractured. When he steadied, the town steadied, not because he was heroic, but because he had become a load-bearing element. Victor played a different role, he remembered. He drew. He documented things no one else saw or survived long enough to process. Jade occupied a similar cognitive space, though from the opposite direction, analysis instead of memory. Tabitha pursued physical meaning, digging, climbing, moving outward. Boyd absorbed impact. If you map function rather than personality, they formed a spread across action domains: endure, interpret, pursue. The system didn't need them to agree. It needed them all to exist simultaneously. In archaeology, certain bog bodies show evidence of what researchers call overkill. Multiple lethal methods applied to a single person: blunt trauma, strangulation, throat cutting. Explanations vary, but one interpretation is redundancy. Ensure death. Prevent return. Guarantee finality across both physical and symbolic registers. From a systems perspective, it resembles shutting down a machine by disconnecting power, severing network access, and destroying storage all at once. No reboot, no recovery, no data extraction. Bodies preserved in peat do not decay normally. Oxygen is absent, microbial activity slows to almost nothing. Skin becomes leather-like, bones soften, features remain intact. They aren't skeletons, they are records, not alive, not gone, simply held in stasis by environmental conditions that prevent change. Effigies in Fromville evoke a similar unease. They aren't graves, nor are they statues. They feel like endpoints of a process that compresses a person into a durable state. Something that can remain where it is placed and continue to matter long after agency is gone. Not a ghost, not a corpse, a fixed component. On a different scale, the town itself operates on triads of pressure. There's a constant threat from outside, creatures that hunt at night. There's a persistent incentive to hope, rumors of escape, visions, structures like the lighthouse, and there's daily routine, food preparation, rules, chores, negotiations, arguments. Remove any one of these, and behavior would shift drastically. Pure terror leads to collapse. Pure hope leads to reckless exposure. Pure routine leads to stagnation until resources fail. The coexistence of all three produces a tense equilibrium in which people neither break completely nor resolve anything. It's a stable misery. Even time behaves in triplets: arrival, adjustment, deterioration. Newcomers enter, struggle to grasp the rules, then begin to wear down under cumulative stress. Some die, some harden. A few become functional parts of the town, their personal narrative subsumed into roles the town seems to require: leadership, memory, exploration. These functions persist even when individuals change. When anomalies occur, they often involve three simultaneous disruptions: a storm, a structural collapse, new arrivals, a discovery underground, a transformation in Boyd, a shift in the creature's behavior. The town doesn't react to single variables, it responds to configurations. It's as if events must triangulate before the system updates. Nothing about this suggests intention in a human sense. It feels less like a curse and more like an environment with built-in tolerances. Two opposing forces produce oscillation, back and forth, escalation, resolution. Add a third constraint, and motion dampens. The system stops swinging and begins to hold shape. Tripods don't wobble on uneven ground because 3 points always define a plane. No adjustment required. Fromville operates like that, self-leveling, resistant to collapse. Not because it is strong, but because its structure cannot easily become unstable. Damage redistributes. Stress migrates to those who can bear it. Information that might destabilize the equilibrium fails to propagate. Even panic becomes localized, absorbed by leadership structures or diffused through routine tasks. The horror is procedural. People aren't merely trapped, they are incorporated. Not erased, not liberated, but utilized to maintain the conditions that keep everyone else in place. Bodies as labor, minds as archives, relationships as anchors. When one element fails, another shifts to compensate. The town does not mourn, it recalculates. Seen this way, the recurring threes are not clues left by a storyteller. They are signatures of a design constraint, the smallest configuration that can enclose, stabilize, and persist without constant oversight. A prison that needs guards can fail when the guards leave. A prison that balances itself doesn't notice whether anyone is watching. It just keeps standing. This isn't a story of escape. It's a schematic of a machine that requires no operator. The architecture of this place isn't built on stone, but on the number 3. The absolute minimum geometric requirement for an interior to exist. A single point is merely a location. 2 points create a line, a vector of movement, an exit, a way out. A line is useless for a prison because it has no inside. To create a cage, the town requires a third point. 3 points create a plane. The moment the third anchor is set, a boundary is established. In this geometry, inside and outside are born. The residents aren't trapped by walls, they are constrained by the mathematical impossibility of a 3-point system having an open end. The tripod doesn't need to be a visible triangle on a map, it's a condition of existence. The process of creating an effigy isn't a ritual of hate. It involves 3 locks. The mind lock severing the cognitive bus, causing the subject to lose the ability to sequence logic, leaving reality as a series of disconnected snapshots. The spirit lock severing the uplink, where the voice serves as the medium of intent and hope. The body lock severing kinetic energy. When all 3 are locked simultaneously, the human is no longer a person, they become an object. A bog body is a passive archive, while an effigy is an active one. The 3 rats consuming the raven represent the same process on an informational level. The raven is a messenger from the above layer, while the rats are the below layer cleanup crew. They converge in 3s to ensure complete erasure, leaving no logic, no emotion, and no physical trace of the message. The protocol operates on every scale simultaneously. It resonates. Geographically, there are 3 red stones forming a boundary. Socially buoyed is the anchor, Tabitha is the seeker, and Victor is the witness. The 96-day peace treaty equates to 3 months pressure and reconfiguration. If the town feels stably chaotic, it's because of the 3-body problem. 2 forces would eventually yield a winner. Adding the 3rd force, the land system, creates a permanent chaotic orbit where no one ever wins and no one ever leaves. It's a state of forced balance. Effigies are the humans who have been successfully compressed into entities. They do not think, they do not feel, they do not die. They simply hold the space. They are the anchors that keep the 3 points of the triangle pinned to the earth. Fromville doesn't hate you, it is simply indexing you. It uses the number 3 because a tripod can stand on any terrain, no matter how broken. As long as there are 3 points of pressure, fear, hope, and routine, the ceiling of this world will never fall, and the door will never open.